Good evening, everybody. So glad that you're all here today. Um, so, the subject today is how to declutter the mind. Now, we're going to address this subject from several angles, but let's start with the question: where do we really live? In our homes, in our workplaces, in our places of recreation? What if I were to say none of the above? I believe, and it's widely known and accepted, that we all live in our minds and not in our homes or workplaces or places of recreation. Those are just stepping points. But from the moment we are born to the moment we depart this world physically, there's only one place where we will have actually lived through the entire journey, and that is in our mind. Now, you can say, I've traveled the world, I've lived in so many places, I've done so many things. That's all true. That's very true. And you are blessed with those experiences. But you did all that whilst living in your mind and really nowhere else, because that's where all the experiences, perceptions, everything manifested. Then this raises another question. If we live in our minds and it is our only home, then how can we manage this home and care for it? So that's the first question. How can we manage this home and care for it? And this is the core theme of our webinar today. Now, to be able to unfold a subject that's so vast, obviously we've got to narrow it down a bit, but let's work with our friendly angels, Cyrus and Luminous, to learn how best we can manage and achieve a high quality of living in our minds, through which we can achieve happiness, peace, and immense spiritual growth, because the mind is the key to work with. So Cyrus and Luminous are in Spain, and they're walking in a park where they see Jose and his wife Laura having a massive row. And Laura is protesting and complaining that, and she's complaining bitterly that all Jose does is sits around like a blob before the TV and then goes off drinking with his friends. She claims that he does nothing to help around the house and do anything for the family. And while this is going on, we don't know how true this is, whether this is really the case, or it's just Laura having a go at her favorite punching bag. We don't know. But Jose's ear has been chewed off by his super pretty and rather angry wife. So he tries to defend himself, but gets immediately shouted down by Laura. So he looks down dejectedly and takes in all the insults that are coming at him at the speed of light. And after watching the one-way battering for a while, Cyrus and Luminous walk over to the couple, and with their usual beaming faces, they try and help calm them down. Now, Cyrus and Luminous have a beautiful energy that can calm anyone down. And today they're going to use this energy to help this lovely couple that appears to be in distress. Now, somehow Laura and Jose seem okay talking to these two strangers, so they don't ask the angels to get lost and mind their own business. They engage with them. And after Laura has said everything that she needed to get off her chest, the angels sit down with them and help them both calm down. So both Jose and Lara are now at peace. And they find chatting with Cyrus and Luminous therapeutic, actually. And it was such a welcome change for them from their stormy, normal relationship. So they invite the two angels to come to their home for dinner and also meet their little ones, Emilio and Alma. So dinner rolls by, and the family has a lovely time with the angels, with hearty laughs around the table, something they haven't experienced in a long time, because usually the atmosphere in their home has been quite grim. And so here they are for the first time, all laughing and joking. The kids love being with Cyrus and Luminous, who have now become their new playmates. So the atmosphere in the home has changed. And then after dinner, Laura goes off to put the children to bed. And when she returns, the four of them, that's Cyrus, Luminous, Jose, and Laura, they sit down in this cozy living room to have dessert and coffee. Now, Laura has decorated this living room in beautiful rustic style, as their home is an old heritage property, and it's classed as that type of a heritage dwelling, probably almost 500 years old, the structure. So Cyrus says to the couple, "You have such a beautiful home, and we pray that your home always be blessed with happiness, and that you may all always flourish in this lovely place." And Jose and Laura are deeply touched to receive the blessings of these two beautiful beings. Cyrus then says, "As we sit in this historic dwelling, which has housed so many families before yours, let us explore for a few moments about what home really is. What is home?" And Jose and Laura nod eagerly because they are keen to hear the wise insights of the angels. So Cyrus says, "Laura, you have lived in many places, from the beautiful house of your parents to all the different places you have lived in as you travel the world. And here you are, having set up this marvelous ancient dwelling with such beauty. What if I were to say to you that your parents' home, this one, and all others are not really where you have lived or are living? These are all stopping points." So Lara looks confused. Cyrus says, "You only live in one place, which is your mind. And so, regardless of where you physically exist, the true living occurs in your mind. And I can take you to an amazing palace," he tells Laura, "and something like you've never imagined before. And you may take in everything and be either very happy or totally unimpressed. Ask yourself, where does this experience of the palace actually occur?" Um, in your mind, he says, which is your real home in this world. So Laura is looking at Cyrus, she's in deep thought. He says, "If, for example, while in the palace you feel happy and fulfilled, then for those moments, the palace and its energies and experiences are actually living in your mind. And when you leave the palace, all your experiences of it may remain with you as memories, or you may just move on and do something else. But that palace actually has lived in your mind." So he says, your mind is the home of everything. When you leave this lovely house of yours tomorrow and go to work, it is present in your mind throughout the day. And whenever you think of it, you are right there in your house. And Jose, when you travel to work, for example, and when you think of your home, you are right here in it with Laura and the children. So they too live with you in your mind, in your home. As do all the people, he says, that you encounter at work and wherever you go. They all have a place in your home of the mind. Laura says, "I've never thought of it this way. I've never considered that every place and every person I have been with as having a place in my home of the mind." She says, "I've never looked at it that way because I see them as being over there and myself over here." And Luminous says, "But that's just geography. Close your eyes," he says, "and think of your mother. Do you see her?" "Yes, I do," Laura replies. "What do you feel when you see her?" Luminous asks. "Sad and upset," Laura says, "because the last conversation I had with my mom before her car accident was a terrible one. And I said some very cruel things to her. And now she is no more. So I cannot even make it right by her." Cyrus says, "But when you close your eyes and you think of her, you see her, don't you?" And Laura replies, "Yes, I do see her." So she does have a place in the home of your mind. Cyrus says. You are sad when you see her in your home of the mind, not because you don't love her, but because you are ashamed about the way you treated her. And those emotions of shame also live in your mind. And that's what makes you sad. It's not your mom that makes you sad, it's those emotions. So by now, Jose is very intrigued by this conversation because the first time someone is pointing them in a direction that they've never considered before. So he says, if everyone we encounter and every place we have been to or lived in all resides in our minds, then why is our mind not so choked up and overflowing? After all, a house or a home has limited capacity, doesn't it? So Cyrus laughs and says, Jose, you are the ever practical engineer. Sure, in physical homes, there is limited capacity. So you welcome certain people into your home, and then you have them leave after a period of time. And, so that you can have your own space, so to speak. Jose agrees. He says, yes. And he says, Laura needs a lot more space than I do, though. And Cyrus adds, your mind has much greater capacity than your physical dwellings. But it too can get choked and confused when you allow too much to be present in it consciously. And this is a problem a lot of us face. He says, look at this house. It has a beautiful living room where we are all relaxing and having a good time. You invited us into this living room, and so we are here, and you are experiencing our presence in this moment, in this physical room, and more importantly, in your mind. And he says, at this moment, we are living in your mind. And even after we leave, when you think of us, you will have us back in your living room of your mind. So your mind has a living room, a bedroom, and other rooms, plus a huge storage room where you keep all your memories. So your mind is a home, proper home. And he says all these memories in that storage room you can recall instantly, at least now at your young age. And when you get older, this storage area becomes less accessible and you will forget more and more. So, that's how the storage room works. Now, let us come back to the living room of your mind. I ask you, Laura, Cyrus says, would you allow someone who torments you and upsets you into this living room? Absolutely not, Laura replies. No way. And Cyrus says, and yet in your living room of the mind, you are constantly stewing and being livid about Claudia, for example, your colleague at work, someone you considered a friend until she stabbed you in the back and stole all the promotions that were rightfully yours. Would you invite her to join us in this living room right now? So Laura is red-faced. She says, absolutely not. He said, then why do you give her so much prominent space in the living room of your mind? Why do you do that? You give her such prominence that she is able to keep you constantly angry and miserable. How many others are there like Claudia who enjoy the super comforts of prime space in the living room of your mind? So Laura is sullen. She says, too many of them actually. There are too many like Claudia living in my mind. That's right, Cyrus says. You never let any of them leave your living room, even though they cause you so much damage and unhappiness. Why don't you just chuck them out? Why do you embrace them so dearly, in what is supposed to be your room, your living room of peace, your personal space, your own temple? Why do you give them so much prominence? Your argument with your mom stemmed from your anger caused by these numerous tormentors who you allowed to live in your mind. And sadly, you took it all out on your poor mom, leaving you ashamed and sad to this day. Why do you allow this to happen to yourself? Why does anyone allow this to happen to himself or herself? You are the master of your home. You have the power to allow whoever you wish into your home and reject whoever you choose. Why have you never exercised this right and privilege thus far in your life when it comes to the home in your mind, which is your entire lifetime home? So Jose is listening to this. Cyrus is getting through to Laura and he thinks it's safe now to express his feelings without getting shouted down. And he adds, I've taken and keep taking the brunt of your anger, my love, he tells Laura. But I do it quietly because I do love you. But to be honest, it does leave me exhausted and unhappy most of the time. So Laura is speechless because she's realized that she has allowed so much misery to live in her mind that it's even impacting the man she loves so much in such an adverse way. How else has she impacted everyone around her? How about her children? So she's speechless. And the living room of her mind is anything but happy. It is simply dark, angry, ashamed, and filled with guilt. And she has unloaded so much of it on her poor husband. So Cyrus says he could see that she's looking sad. And Cyrus says the good news, Laura, is that just as you have a choice of whether to welcome or reject people from entering your physical home, you similarly have the same choice in the living room of your mind, in the home of your mind. But you don't exercise that choice. And why do you think that is? So Laura replies, I have no idea why. Cyrus says it is because you're a very sensitive, lovely woman and you get emotionally hurt very easily. Each time you get hurt, you allow those emotions to accumulate and continue living with you because of your sensitive nature. And life being life, it just keeps sending you more and more and more such emotions your way. And you simply place them all in your living room of your mind, like bricks on the walls. And in this physical living room, you cannot remove those bricks easily because that would require a lot of care and effort to remove piece by piece so as not to damage the wall. This is in your physical living room. The living room of your mind is no different. It is also delicate. And your emotions become the bricks of your living room. And each time you see them, they come alive and they consume you. They light you up in a bad way. And your home of the mind has never really known what it means to be happy because there are too many bricks on its walls that need to go. So it's time for a proper renovation job. You call it reformas in Spanish. Time for a proper renovation job. And we need to help you pull out these cancerous bricks from your living room carefully, one by one, and redecorate your living room of the mind with the things that make you happy, just like you have done in this physical living room, amazingly decorated with so much attention to detail. And all your colors and textures of the walls before us are in complete harmony, as I can see right now in this living room. Nothing is in conflict. You've made everything match so beautifully because any conflicting decor in here will stand out like an eyesore in this room because there's so much harmony in your design and the way you've done it. So let's do that with your mind too. And how does one do that? Jose asks. Well, Jose, Cyrus says, you are the engineer. If you wanted to completely renovate and reform this living room, what would you do? Bearing in mind that this room is one of an old and historic nature, you can't just tear it down or you would be in trouble with the authorities. So you have to be very careful. So what would you do? Jose says, well, I would carefully chisel out each brick as cleanly as possible and replace it with a better one that is in harmony with the decor that we are all comfortable with. Exactly, Luminous says. You can do the same with your mind, which is also delicate, like this heritage home. We have to find and chisel out each one of those bricks that don't belong, not with a hammer and chisel, but with the most powerful tool that you have, which is your power of thought. So let us create a renovations crew for you in your mind with thoughts that can precisely chisel out and discard each unwanted brick or each unwanted item of clutter and then replace it either with nothing or with something that you love. The choice is yours because you are the interior decorator of this room in your mind. So let us start by setting up your renovations crew now. Each member of this crew is a powerful thought, and you can work with each thought one at a time to completely renovate the home of your mind. And meditation is the power source that drives all the tools of these powerful renovation thoughts. And so Jose doesn't know much about meditation, so he says, but how does meditation apply here in this situation? And Cyrus replies, it is the means by which you can declutter the mind and cleanse and redecorate the home of your mind. Meditation gives you that powerful focus, which your renovation crew can use to precisely chip away each brick, each item that doesn't belong, and remove all the unwanted bricks and decor and items that cause clutter. You can do that with meditation when it comes to your mind. And then he said, after that comes the team that redecorates the living room and the rest of the house to a level where you absolutely love every moment of being in it, your true home, the mind. So Laura asks Cyrus, can you teach us how to do this? Sure, Cyrus replies. Let us follow the same logic as if you were renovating this physical room we are in here right now. The first step is to identify the bricks that need to be removed. Identify the bricks that need to be removed. So team one of your renovation crew will help identify the unwanted material that is cluttering your living room. This team is called the introspection crew. The introspection crew, introspection meaning taking a deep look within. And this crew will help you test your feelings and zero into where the clutter lies. So test your feelings to zero into where the clutter lies. And how does one test one's feelings then? Laura inquires. I mean, how do you do that practically? Easy, Cyrus says. Let us bring in the introspection crew and let's do this as an experiment while you sit back in your armchair and relax in silence. So Laura sits back and relaxes in silence. And how do you feel? So good, Laura replies, I feel great. He says, now stay in that space for a while longer in silence. And so Laura sits, and after a while, her face begins to twitch and she begins to turn red. How do you feel now? Cyrus asks. Just been sitting there in peace and quiet. Angry, she replies. I feel angry about Claudia. I feel betrayed. So Cyrus says, okay, hold on to those feelings for a moment and let your introspection crew do their report. They have found a problem. They have found Claudia and all emotions associated with her as being cancerous bricks on your wall. As a matter of fact, Claudia occupies a large number of bricks on your wall, on your living room wall, because of the link she has to so many other hurtful people who you also have on your brick wall. So she has many cobwebs that connect her with the other bricks. So now you know from the introspection crew and from this short moment of sitting quietly and beginning to sense within, now you know that Claudia must go from your living room of the mind. So sitting quietly comfortably in your chair, doing nothing is one way of bringing hurtful memories and thoughts to surface for the introspection crew to work with. Another way is to actively test your feelings. For example, when you're driving or are at work or doing whatever, as soon as you feel sad or angry or down, stop. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? And this question Why am I feeling this way? Brings your introspection crew to the scene. It comes alive. Those thoughts of introspection are now awake. And he says, you will get the answer because you will be able to identify exactly what is making you sad, angry, or down. And this goes onto your introspection list of bricks or clutter items to be removed because now you know what it is. So, step one is to find all the bad apples or bricks or clutter, so to speak. That's step one. Find the problem. Step two is to chisel out and remove the bad bricks and remove the items that don't belong. So for this, the next team from your crew that comes on board is called the detachment team. So this is team two. First one was introspection team. They identified where the problem lies. Now comes the detachment team. And the detachment team is going to help you detach these bricks from your wall and let them go and get rid of them together with all the rest of the unnecessary clutter. So Laura is fascinated. The introspection team, now the detachment team. And he says, for this, you will have to work with meditation and practice the meditation of detachment. Let us say you want to remove Claudia and her associated emotions from your being. You will go into a meditative state, and we will teach you how to do this. And then think of Claudia, look at her, and you will see so many cords, like spiders' webs, cobwebs, I call them, that are tied to you with Claudia. Then you cut every single cord she has connected with you. The detachment crew brings you powerful golden scissors, and we've used these golden scissors before. These scissors cut each and every cord that binds Claudia with you until there are no cords left. And she becomes unlodged and floats away out of the large window in your living room. She floats away like a party balloon until you see her and all her cobwebs disappear, no longer occupying space in your living room. She disappears right into the horizon. And as you watch her disappear into the horizon, you feel free, completely free of all her emotions and memories and thoughts. Remember this feeling of relief and freedom because it will also help you should Claudia come back in your living room. So the detachment crew is extremely useful in removing and cleaning out all the bricks that the introspection crew has identified. Now it is time for step three, because you have now identified, introspected, detached, removed. Step three is the forgiveness and healing crew, and they come in now. Because remember, when you remove bricks from a wall, they leave behind marks. They are like scars that must be cleansed and healed. You cannot put a new brick on the remains of a brick that was removed because it has scars. You have to level out the surface before you put the next one. And the best way to do this is by forgiving yourself and forgiving all those that have hurt you. So you forgive yourself and forgive all those that have hurt you. And this forgiveness places a soothing balm over the scars. So it covers the scars so you can put new bricks there or put new things there. And in the case of your mother, Laura, you don't want to remove her from your wall because she belongs there. She has a rightful place in your heart and in your mind. But you do want to remove your emotions of shame and guilt. So you seek the forgiveness of your mother through meditation and conscious thought. And as you seek that forgiveness, this cleanses and polishes her bricks on your wall to perfection. So now each time you look at her and you look at those bricks on the wall, all you feel is love and happiness. So by seeking her forgiveness, you have cleansed and removed the negative emotions that are tied to your mother, largely caused by you. So forgiveness and healing crew is tasked with helping you forgive and seek forgiveness. And after forgiveness, it is time to heal. And this is done by invoking thoughts of light and healing in your mind, once again through meditation. Now, we will practice this meditation just now so you can learn the steps. Then Cyrus says, then the fourth step is where the redecorating team comes in. They present thoughts of people and places and emotions and events that make you feel happy, empowered, and filled with clarity. They are really positive. And this crew helps you place the new bricks on your living room wall in your mind. And he says, don't rush this process. Let these new bricks that make you happy slowly find their way and place on your wall. It doesn't have to be done immediately. And the final step, which is the fifth step, is the housekeeping crew, whose role is constant. Because your living room wall will keep receiving new bricks, which you will subconsciously place on it, or clutter, which you will subconsciously allow. Some of them will be unwanted, and the housekeeping crew looks out for such bricks and clutter. It works with the introspection crew that tests your feelings. Then it works with the detachment crew that helps remove those bricks and clutter with precision and get rid of them. And it engages with the forgiveness and healing crew, which helps remove the new scars that have formed. And the better the housekeeping crew performs, the shallower the new scars will be and easier to remove and heal. And finally, the housekeeping crew then works with the redecoration crew to place positive and empowering new bricks and items of decor in your living room wall, as well as other items that complement the overall decor of your mind in a positive way. So he says, remember, all the unwanted bricks and their emotions leave through that large window in your living room. They float away like party balloons, and you watch each balloon disappear. And remember that feeling of freedom and relief that you experience at the time. Because the next time the same emotions reappear, you can let them out of the window with ease. So, for the housekeeping crew to work best, you have to consciously engage with it. Test your feelings as soon as you feel down, and take steps to detach, forgive, heal, and redecorate your walls and your living room and the rest of your home in your mind. And this housekeeping crew needs your involvement 24/7. So Laura is sitting there completely mesmerized. And Cyrus says, you can also let go of all the hurtful memories from your storage room with the four crews, in the same way as you remove the bricks from your wall. You can remove the clutter from the room. You can remove the clutter from your memories. And he says, as each time you remove and replace a brick, all the cords that tie to the memory bank also go with it. So your storage room becomes cleaner. So he says, most of the times, he said, even simply being conscious and removing the clutter and the bricks also cleanses your memory and your storage room. So he says it's time to make our living room of the mind and all its rooms clean, healthy, positive, and filled with clarity, peace, and happiness. So before we do the practical meditation, let us recap the important steps. Number one, be aware that you live in your mind, and your living room and the rest of the rooms must be well managed in your mind. And you can do this, number two, with the power of thought. Number three is that you have 5 crews that will work with you. The introspection crew, through which you will identify the source of what is taking you down. The detachment crew that will help you detach from it. The forgiveness and healing crew that will heal the scars and make way for new and happy decor to be put on in the living room. And then the redecorations crew who come and enable that redecoration of the room. And finally, the fifth one is your housekeeping crew, which you engage with 24/7 to make sure that your mind always remains decluttered and that you're happy. And so today's meditation is to help us learn the key steps in keeping our mind in a state of positivity, clarity, happiness, and peace. Because these qualities can help us in a great deal in our material and spiritual lives. So take a few moments and think about the living room of your mind and identify one or some of the bricks that you may wish to remove. It can be a person, it can be a set of emotions attached to a place or places or events, it can be anything, anything that's getting you down. So Cyrus and Luminous have helped Laura identify Claudia and her impact as being one of the things that she needed to remove from her being. They also identified the fact that in order to disconnect with the sadness every time she thought of her mom, she had to seek forgiveness and cleanse and polish everything associated with her mom in her living room. So every time she sees it again, she's happy. So each one of us will have someone or something that we are better off letting go. Now, in today's meditation, rather than being specific about a person or an event or a place, I will keep our meditation steps very general for today. But when you practice it after today, you can focus on a particular person or circumstance or experiences or emotions or whatever you wish, but you can actually focus on that and then practice the meditation the way we've done it today. But rather than being general, you can be specific and you can use this technique to start letting go, decluttering, and creating that clarity and peace and happiness and light in your mind. So let's sit back, relax, breathe freely, and let's go on this interesting journey of decluttering our mind. Be at peace and breathe freely. Let go of all your tensions and emotions and be at total peace. And I'd like you to imagine that you're standing on a tall, beautiful mountain where the grass is green, the sky is blue, the morning sun is shining. In front of you, there is a beautiful, crystal clear lake of water. There's birds in the sky, there's flowers in the fields. Take a moment and look at this vibrant nature and connect with it. As you look around, it's just pure beauty, beauty of nature. And then you start walking towards the lake and take a few steps in the water until it reaches your knees. And when you look at your knees, you see ripples and waves, but you would like the water to go completely still. So you look at the water around your knees and you repeat, stillness, stillness, stillness. Everything around your knees, all the water, begins to go still with each repetition of stillness. Take a few moments and keep repeating in your mind, stillness. Stillness. The water is now completely still. You can see the reflection of your face in the water. You can see the reflection of the blue sky. As you look ahead of you, the whole lake is still like a mirror, reflecting the sky. Stillness. You are in pure stillness. You are completely still from within. And in the midst of this stillness, you now repeat the word silence. 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 As your entire being goes completely silent. Everything around you goes completely silent. Take a few minutes and repeat the word silence. Silence. You are in pure stillness and pure silence. And you then turn around and you walk out of the lake and you look before you at this beautiful house. It's a little mansion. It is the home of your mind. Take a moment and look at this beautiful home of your mind from the outside. It has a lovely garden with colorful flowers. And you walk towards this home of the mind. Open the front door. And as you walk through the front door and walking towards the passageway towards the living room, you see a door to your left-hand side, which you push open. And this is your storage room. This is where all your memories are stored. And when you look in this room, there is bright patches, there is dark patches, there is clutter. It's a bit of a mess, but it's a mixture of light and darkness and chaos and clutter. Take a look at your storage room, where all your memories reside. And once you've done that, you close the door and keep walking through the hallway into the living room. But the living room shares the same wall as the storage room. They are connected. And you sit down in a comfortable chair in the living room and look around this living room. You have decorated it beautifully. It has your favorite art. It has your flowers. It has all the things that you love, nicely placed in this living room. And then you divert your attention to the wall. And the walls are made of red brick. And you start looking at the bricks on the wall. And some of them are perfect, polished, absolutely in harmony. They belong. But then there are some that have darkened with age. There are some that have turned black instead of red through oxidation. And there are some on which there is green mold growing. And these bricks are connected with each other with tiny cords like the web of a spider. There are cobwebs that connect certain bricks to one another. And you take a moment and you look at these bricks, because this is your moment of introspection, where you wish to identify the bricks and the clutter and the cobwebs that need to be removed so as to enhance the decor of your living room to perfection. This is your moment of introspection As you look at the walls and you repeat, clarity, clarity, clarity. Keep repeating the word clarity as everything in your mind becomes completely clear, revealing to you all the defects in the living room of your mind that need to be removed. Clarity, clarity, clarity. Take a few moments and repeat clarity. Clarity. And now it's time to remove the bricks that have mold on them, the bricks that have aged and darkened that don't belong, to chisel each one of them out gently. As you start with your detachment team and they are chiseling out each of these bricks, and you repeat in your mind, detach, detach, detach. As you watch each brick being properly chiseled out with precision, detach, detach, detach. And then you pull out the first brick, and all the cords and cobwebs that link this brick to others need to be cut. And so with the golden scissors you have been given, you cut each of those cords as you repeat, detach, 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 until you have cut every single cord that binds the brick to any part of the walls of your mind. And once all the cords are gone, the brick begins to float away out of the large living window in the living room, like a party balloon. And it floats away, taking with it all the shreds and cobwebs as it begins to disappear in the sky towards the horizon, until you can see it no more. As you repeat, detach, detach, detach. And you feel a sense of freedom, a sense of you feel a sense of freedom as you repeat, peace, peace, peace. You are completely relieved that the brick is gone. Peace, peace, peace. And now it is time to heal the scars that have been left behind from when we removed the bricks and the clutter. As you look at the wall and you look at what remains, you repeat, forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. As you forgive all those that have hurt you, all those that have placed unwanted bricks and clutter in your living room of your mind. Forgiveness, forgiveness. Keep repeating the word forgiveness as you heal and cover all the scars. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. And through forgiveness, all the scars are gone. And then you look at some of the bricks that you love, but they are tarnished and they need to be polished and brought back to life. And these are bricks of people that you have hurt, that you are ashamed of or guilty, or filled with other emotions of remorse as you repeat in your mind, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Keep asking for forgiveness as those tarnished bricks, which are the results of your actions, get cleansed and polished. Forgive me. Forgive me. And all the scars from the bricks and clutter removed are healed through forgiveness. All the bricks and materials that are tarnished are cleansed and polished through praying for forgiveness from those you have hurt. Forgiveness. And now it is time to heal. Heal everything in your mind, all the scars, everything. As you repeat in your mind, heal in the name of the light. Heal in the name of the light. Heal, heal, heal. Keep repeating the word heal. Heal, heal, heal. And you wish that your mind be filled with light, light of healing, as you repeat, light, light, light. Light through which all the walls and every corner of the home of your mind gets illuminated and comes to life in a happy, positive way. Light, light, light. And now it is time to replace all the bricks that have been removed and all the clutter and decor that has been removed. Replace them with ones that bring you peace and happiness, ones that are in true harmony with all the rest of the bricks and all the rest of your mind as you repeat the word harmony, harmony, harmony. Harmony, harmony. As the living room of your mind gets redecorated with everything that is in harmony with you, with your heart, with your soul. Harmony, harmony, harmony. And this harmony brings you happiness as you repeat happiness, happiness, happiness. Happiness. And it brings you peace, 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 peace. As your mind is now filled with happiness and peace and love, love, love. Your mind is decluttered. You removed all that doesn't belong, all that doesn't need to be there. You've cleansed and polished all that does need to be there. You've forgiven, You've sought forgiveness. You've prayed for healing. You filled your being with light. And now you can step out of your living room. And as you walk down the hallway towards the door, you stop at the door of your storage room. You open it and look inside. And there's a lot more light in it now. Things are a lot more organized. The dark patches, so many of them are gone. You're happy with even your memories being rearranged in ways that bring you positivity, clarity, peace, love, and light. As you close the storage room and walk out of your mansion, and you walk out towards the lake, you look at the water and you repeat, stillness, stillness, stillness. As you go completely still, stillness. And then you repeat silence, silence, silence. And you may open your eyes whenever you're ready. That was a peaceful meditation. This is how we start working and decluttering our minds. All the steps we did were general, but you can apply the same steps with specific things that you wish to let go of and cleanse from your being. And when it comes to decluttering of the mind, there's so many aspects to it. And today we have covered some key fundamental aspects. And God willing, we might do another class where we may take the decluttering process and then go deeper spiritually, which I think would make a good topic for the next class also on decluttering the mind, with which we can close the whole loop and have tools and have a thought process and have a recognition that is empowering, that is peaceful, that is happy. And it is our right to be happy. Happiness is also a choice. Let's exercise it. And I think if we do this consciously and keep our housekeeping crew working, we will have so many happier days and less sadness until we reach a point where our state of being is graced with eternal happiness. And I pray that each one of you be blessed with lots of peace, happiness, clarity, that the light of our Creator may always be with you, to love you, help you, guide you, and protect you. Stay blessed, and we will see you at the next class.